Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/HomeandPodcast. Over 180,000 titles to choose from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Thanks, Audible, and let's get into the episode.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home and Podcast time.
That's right, Binford Tools is proud to present the Home Improvement Podcast. My name is Adam. You all know my co-host, Jordan.
Hi, again. How's it going?
Jordan, it's a pleasure. You know, the first time around we tried to do this, it was okay, but I think in light of our technical issues, maybe this time we can really make it count.
Yeah, we wanted to start off a new season with, the most issues as possible. So we're off to a flying start.
Well, you've got your router reset, and you're rip-roaring, and your router's ready to go.
Ready to go. We're ready to go for Season 4. We've got some new stuff going on. We've got a new segment where Wilson's really going to be in focus, because Wilson doesn't get enough love. And
he's your MVP from Season 3, if I recall.
Yeah, he's going to continue it. He's going to try to go back-to-back. And we've got a new intro, which you didn't remember until this morning. So
no, I'd forgotten we switched that around, and I may have been kind of skeptical when you were working on it originally, and by skeptical I mean I didn't think it was necessary. But
some really passive aggressive emails.
Probably one of our longest email threads to date, which maybe we should make public. I don't know, people might find that funny. You might not think, based on how we sometimes act on the show, that maybe we don't care a lot about this podcast, but the email thread, a lot of opinions being thrown around.
And all the work that I just did to get this internet up and running.
That's true. I like the new theme song. I think it's turned out very well.
It's classy.
It's really classy, and it's contemporary.
There's some elegance to it, but also some, I don't know, it's just got that down-home feeling.
I would say it has a lot of depth. Yeah. So, all right. Okay. So we're here. We're talking Season 4. We might have a trick or two up our sleeves. Is
that what we're calling them, tricks?
Yeah, we have a couple tricks up our sleeve.
All right.
And I think in light of our struggle this morning, I'll ask you, Jordan, how are you?
I'm doing well, splendid. I think I said the first time. How are you?
Yeah. I was better probably like a half hour ago than I am now, but still all right. It's Friday. It's about 50 degrees here in northern part of Illinois, so unseasonably warm.
You got to watch a really good documentary this morning?
Wasn't a documentary. It was fiction.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. I'm working as a film screener for an independent. It's like a Netflix service for independent films. I don't know if we mentioned that on air, but I watch 3 movies every week, and they're of a wide variety. And as is often the case with things that we talk about, or with regards to me, is I can't really talk about it. I signed a non-disclosure agreement. Which,
you basically work for the CIA. It's unreal.
I'm the least important person to ever sign
NDAs and stuff.
2 or 3 NDAs in the course of a year. But I did watch an interesting film this morning. It wouldn't have been my first choice, nor my second, or my third, or my fourth, or my fifth.
But you know what is your first choice?
Back in the Saddle Shoes again?
Yeah, absolutely. This is our 75th episode.
Wow, man, you hear that number, and it feels every bit of 75, especially on days when it's tough to get recording.
Tough sledding.
75 with bonus episodes, probably pretty close to 80. We should know, but we
don't. Yeah, we just like to keep it with this number. This is pure home improvement episodes, 75. Yeah. So
that means by the end of the season we'll have reached 100 thereabouts.
Wow,
I think it's 26 episodes.
That's
season.
how you know you're a bona fide amazing podcast.
Well, that's when you get into syndication after you hit 100. So we'll basically be cashing home podcast checks until the day we die.
Oh man, I hope so.
Which, according to my mom, if I don't get my flu shot, will be pretty soon.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, you may have said that we were floundering on Twitter, but I don't feel that way.
That was on my personal Twitter. How dare you bring that up on the podcast?
Sorry. I mean, I just couldn't it shocked me. I'm surprised it wasn't one of those like Twitter moments.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, it did not go viral. I was half joking. I mean, I think January is a tough month for downloads. And
we're doing better this year than last year, though.
That's true. For whatever reason, in the summer and fall, our downloads really soared.
Every year.
Yeah, but then in December and January, it's kind of like we're just recording for no one, and we don't really get a lot of, interaction on Twitter. So I think maybe I was just feeling that.
In the summer, people are outside, and they just got it blaring on their Bluetooth speakers.
Yeah, the opposite should be true. Like we should be getting more interaction and downloads in the winter. But hey, I'm just happy to be here. I'm drinking my San Pellegrino. Blood orange, and I'm ready to talk back in the saddle shoes again.
It must be
Let's
Friday.
do it.
It must be Friday. All right. Yeah. I guess I'll get into it then with your blessing.
Yeah, you have it.
Okay. So back in the saddle shoes again. Written by Bruce Ferber, who last did Too Many Cooks and Dollars and Cents. Two of your favorites.
Yeah, those are two bad episodes.
I mean, I miss Irma though.
Irma. Yeah, she was sorely missed in this one.
Sorely. Aired September 20th, 1994. No plot keywords. The title reference, we talked about that before, haven't we? Because we sang Back in the Saddle again.
Was it an alternative title?
I don't remember where it came from, but
who cares?
We've got alternative titles now, though.
Yeah, we do. Back in the Saddle Shoes again is a bad title, so ours might not be a lot better, but I think they might be a little bit of an improvement.
We'll see. I've got. I don't want to share all four because I'm afraid they're bad, but I will.
We came up with 4 for season 4, right?
That's why I did it. Usually I'm a 3 type of guy, but I did 4 this time.
All right, you go ahead and go first.
All right, Back to Fool.
I just did Back to School, which I know is pretty lame, but we do like that movie, and it
Triple
was
Lindy.
Appropriate. I mean, nothing quite like watching a Triple Lindy go down. But.
Okay, so there's our school or fool related ones. The second one I've got is Stilted Support.
Okay, my next one is Freaky Deaky.
I love Deke. This is maybe my worst one. Overall Dry, y'all.
Overall Dry, y'all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, sure. Here's one. Dueling Dummies.
Rap Schneider's a carrot. My last one is Class Clown.
Good one. All right, my last one is Done Raising.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness for that. All right, we're off to a swimming start here. The synopsis, written by your old pal Bernie. Jill loses her job and decides to go back to school for her master's in psychology. Tim is unhappy about her decision, and he wonders what she even saw in him in the first place. They both think differently about education.
That really over dramatizes what happens in this episode.
Yeah,
I don't know. But
hey, Bernie's a drama queen.
Drama king and or queen. All right, you want to get into it?
Not really, but yeah, let's do it.
All right. Okay.
Tool time.
We both noted that our notes are
sparse,
sparing. Okay, drywall. Home improvement. Drywall, home improvement, tool time specifically, wearing a couple of jumpsuits. They have a product called the Wet Tape Banjo.
Man, that can't be what they're really called, right?
It doesn't really roll off the tongue. They do a lot of deliverance humor with the...
yeah, there are such things as wet tape banjos, but man...
Well, yeah, that's one that maybe they should have spent a little more time on in development, come up with a better name. Tim plays fake guitar, or rather fake wet tape banjo. Really.
The real MVP of the scene is Klaus.
Klaus is always on lock. He's
ready for Tim.
He's there with your sound. Man, that guitar bit goes on a long time.
Yeah, it does. You know what I noticed right away, besides the logo losing its creepy arms and legs, and now it's like all beams or whatever. Tim got a haircut.
I can't say that I noticed that.
His hair's shorter.
Okay. Do you like it? What do you think?
I mean, it looks like he went to Great Clips, which is where I go, so that's that's fine.
I'm sorry for both of you.
They've got online check-in. It's great.
It's better than Sports Clips, where you put your coat in like a fake locker, and the game's always on. I've never been to one, but the commercials look hilarious.
Boy, they're advertising heavy on all the podcasts I listen to lately. But
Sports Clips?
Yeah.
Gosh, well, I shouldn't say much more. We might be able to get them on board.
We're talking about hair.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's weird because you're used to like that mullet in the back, and it's just not there anymore. So.
Yeah, sign of the times.
Yeah, I kind of like the mullet on him better, to be honest. But I did notice right away that he had a thinner head of hair going on.
That's going to, every year, every season, he's going to get less and less hair, I suspect.
He's just going to be bald by season 8.
You can put that one in the books. All right. So a duel ensues between Tim and Al, a wet tape banjo duel. They're using the product in... I was wondering, like, Tim is bad at it, and I'm thinking, like, shouldn't this be very easy? Like, try to explain what they're doing. Maybe you could do a better job than I could.
Well, yeah, they've got the banjo, and it's got some tape, and it sticks to the holes between the drywall sheets, and it's supposed to smooth out the holes and all that kind of stuff, so there's nothing like that. But I think the problem is Tim made his own mix. And so the mix won't stand up to what Al's pre-mix thing is. So, Tim's custom stuff doesn't work like usual.
I guess I missed that. Yeah, I wondered why he wouldn't be good at it, because it seemed like
you
something
were
that
distracted by the banjo.
Yeah, I was still laughing over the Tim playing the wet tape banjo for, like the first 4 or 5 minutes of the episode, and I just really couldn't focus.
For the rest of the episode. That's why your notes are so sparse.
The rest of the day, actually. I couldn't even work. That's the open, and that's it.
It goes on and on and on.
It's not great. But what was great was some new opening credit kind of sequences, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, I'd say. So
these are the ones that I remember.
I agree.
Growing up with, yeah.
I remember specifically the video game portion where you get 500 points for jumping over various evil appliances that are trying to attack you.
It's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I think the updates work quite well, and then you get the thing at the end where they Tim and Al are like adjusting the television set. I like it. I dug it.
You dug it. There's like a grainy quality to all of the pictures, all of the film here, which is a little bit different than. Did they do that before? I don't know. It drew my attention this time.
I see what you're saying. I think that it has always been like that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, for whatever reason, it got me this time. I was crying.
Nostalgic for your upbringing.
For the graininess. I liked it.
It's good.
It's something new.
Now I can skip it. Now I can skip it for the remainder of the episodes.
Do you remember when we used to spend the first 3 episodes trying to find something new?
Yeah. You really can only take that so far, though.
Yeah, we took it far enough. So. And we're going to take this into the next scene, which is in the garage. Mark and Tim are hanging out, buffing the hot rod like usual. And
Mark's grown. Mark's a little taller.
Yeah, he's a little bit taller, still delivering great lines, I think.
I wish Mark was a little bit taller. I wish she was a baller. Yeah, Mark really freaking burns his dad in this scene.
What does he say? Tim says he only spent a little bit of time out and
spent a little bit of time staring at the hot rod, and Mark says, "A little bit of time." Excuse me. Can I do that?
It's a crossover episode, and we didn't talk about that.
I wish. We will get
You know what's funny? This is not really related, but Andrea the other night...
and for listeners, Andrea is your...
Bunny. No, my wife.
Hey, whatever you call her in the confidence of your own home.
She was saying, for no reason, she had the Family Matters theme song stuck in her head the other night, and she could not get it out.
She probably, I know she's not a huge fan of our podcast, but she probably listened to a lot of Family Matters podcasts.
Yeah, if there is some out there, that would be interesting.
It's a good theme song, yeah. I guarantee, Jordan, there's 6 home improvement podcasts, and I'm not. And don't go listen to any of them. None of them are.
No, not nearly as good as ours.
Stack up to ours. Of course, we're number 1, but there's got to be at least 2 or 3 Family Matters podcasts.
At least.
If you had a Family Matters podcast, what would you call it? Did I podcast that?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I don't know what else you would call it. Urkelcast?
Urkelcast, Family Matters, Carl, Eddie. Hey, I guess I'll work on this off.
Yeah,
off
but it'll be
but
something in the pipeline, and then we're gonna buy the domain and
buy the domain and sit on it until somebody starts one.
It's like sitting on a gold mine. All right, so Jill. Well, okay. There's a couple things going on. Tim's.
All right, you got to talk about Deke.
Well, we're not to Deke yet. Before we're at Deke, Tim's waiting on an original hot rod ornament, and then the phone rings.
1933.
Yeah, the phone rings. He goes to answer it. It's not Deke, the man that he's hoping to talk to. It's Brad's girlfriend.
Deke is like Deke's got like a hookup on ornaments. He's got
a hookup on. He just knows people who knows people.
He knows people who knows people. Yeah. And Deke, he's kind of like
he's freaky deaky.
He's freaky deaky. That's really the best way to say it. So. Yeah.
Yeah. So Brad wanted to talk to his girlfriend, but Tim's got to keep the lines clear. Got to keep the phone lines clear. New
girlfriend, Ashley. I don't think we've heard about her before.
I thought she was I remember an Ashley. Maybe
I'm wrong. Okay.
Who knows? I'm sure someone will correct us. Because
I doubt it. That would imply some people are listening.
Some people have to tweet. All right. Jill comes in through the garage through a door we've never seen before. And
that's an interesting note. Yeah, it makes sense though. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after this, she basically breaks the door off its handle. So she slams it shut. She's PO'd. A big meeting happened at work. She was expecting a raise and a promotion, but it turns out she got fired with 2 weeks' pay and some cake. That's a real mean firing.
I was gonna say it could be worse. I was under the impression she was really only working part-time anyways.
Yeah. So she's getting 2 weeks' pay and some cake. What else do you want?
Why would she go in expecting both a raise and a promotion? Presumptuous, maybe?
Maybe. I mean, I think she's been spending too much time in the fundraisers.
Yeah, her fundraising, I mean, that took her so long. Like, it was just such a slow process that she shouldn't be surprised that they canned her.
Yeah, but they did. So she's upset. Her whole world is falling down. Brad is concerned about the cake as well as Tim. So they're not really listening to the mama here. They're just not really being supportive. And she's looking for some sensitivity. Brad is worried about his allowance, which he's never going to get after this episode. And Tim, wants to know what happened. Becky, big-breasted Becky, I'm guessing, is her name in the office.
The writers of this show are obsessed with breasts.
They sure are. She didn't get laid off because, Jill implies that she has big boobs, but she also has a Harvard education.
PhDs, Jordan.
PhDs. So Jill's distraught. Tim's trying to console her. The phone rings, and they're kind of in this embrace, and Tim slowly shuffles to the phone to answer what he thinks is going to be Deke's call.
So hoping it's Deke on the other end. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I like the shuffle.
I got a laugh out of this. Yeah. And Jill's mad because, why should he take this call from Deke, who Jill presumably has never heard of? Because I mean, Tim's never. It's like Tino and Forche. Like Tino, Forche, and Deke are all just kind of hanging out doing shady things.
They're definitely seedy characters.
I'd love to see a Deke spinoff. That could really be a podcast too. Dekecast.
I don't know what we'd ever talk about, but possible connections for Deke.
Yeah. I mean, you just talk about hood ornaments on hot rods, which you can get a couple episodes out of that.
At least a couple. Tim says he's a man with connections, and Jill says, well, maybe he can get me a job, and Tim says, really shouldn't bother Deke right now. He's doing me a favor. So.
Yeah, good one, Tim. Later, I don't know, same day, next day, another week.
Next day. Jill's sad. It's breakfast time.
Hard to say. It's breakfast time, apparently. And Marie's there, and she's not worried about her locket. She's instead listening to Jill just kind of malign her current situation.
She would never bring that locket back over to the tailors for, the possibility that it could be taken again.
Just a tremendous risk to bring that locket anywhere.
Especially since now Brad has to get Ashley a big gift.
Yeah, we didn't reference that because it doesn't matter. I would just recommend Marie stays out. Didn't they find that locket in an alley somewhere? Wasn't that the thing that Brad found it in a back alley? She should just stay out of alleys.
You know what? That's a bad place to be. I wish that the meat man would have been there for breakfast. He could have provided some specialty meats that would have been delicious.
Do you want to know the number, like the ratio between the number of times we've seen the Meat Man and we've heard about the Meat Man? Like we've seen him twice. I think he's only in 2 episodes. We've heard about him like, I don't know, 15 times at this point.
We've heard about the Meat Man more than we've heard about John Binford.
That means when the Meat Man dies, we're going to get one hell of a just really sad episode. Yeah. All right, so Marie, Jill talked about how the magazine business in Detroit is so tough. Right now.
Tough. It's just a tough business to crack. So she's going to try something else.
She called the end of print journalism. She kind of predicted it right then and there. She knew. She had a feeling that.
Sometimes when people get fired or laid off, they kind of take a week or two to figure out what they want to do next or, whatever. Jill has thought about this for one night, and she knows exactly what she wants to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is it, Jordan?
She wants to go back to school. She loves psychology. She thinks she might make a good therapist. I mean, she deals with her family, so she could deal with other families. How many people have had that
argument? Like, I listen to my husband all day, therefore I must be, I'm qualified to be a psychiatrist. Or like a doctor. Like a lot of people think they could be doctors or lawyers because they're good at arguing. Kind of flawed argument. I always
thought. They want to be doctors because they're good at arguing,
well,
or just
I switched the analogy midway through. But like, I remember in high school, or even like in the college classes I teach, often I'll hear people say that they want to be a lawyer because they're good at arguing or they like arguing. There's a bit more to it than that, and I think Jill's kind of making the same mistake.
Yeah, well, she's going to make it all the way to getting her degree, if I recall.
Yeah,
but
I suppose it's not a mistake, but it seems like one now.
Yeah, Marie is supportive, which is something she sorely needed after Tim's reaction. So later, some short scenes here. Brad is eating some watermelon. He's got a soccer ball a lot in this episode, so
they're forecasting the fact that he's going to be a big time soccer player.
They're forecasting it like it's weather.
Yeah.
The Wilsometer.
The Wilson.
He's eating watermelon, dropping some seeds all over this college brochure.
Was there like a joke here that I missed, or is it just like supposed to be funny because he's making a mess with watermelon? Is there more to this?
No, I think, he's just making a mess over her nice brochure. I think she makes the joke, Brad makes the joke that he's a little young to be talking about colleges, and then she's a little old to be talking about colleges.
Yeah, but nothing to do with watermelon, really.
No watermelon jokes.
That's something that Mark should be eating watermelon in a funny way, not Brad. That's a Mark bit. I don't know. They should hand that one off, but
Mark had his moment of glory in the first couple scenes.
Well, he just he burned his dad tremendously. So yeah, then he went up to his room to play video games. So
he's playing that video game where he has to jump over the toaster.
Yeah, he's getting good, too.
He's really good, 500 points. All right, so Tim comes home. Jill has had a much better day than the other day that she came home. Tim says, "What'd you do, stuff your face and talk to your girlfriends?" He says that's his idea of a good day. So
he's trying to save face because she's like, "You think I would like to do that?" It's like, I don't know, you seem pretty sad yesterday. I don't know. Didn't seem like such a leap. But
so she wants to share her college idea with Tim, and Tim is almost immediately not on board. It's going to take forever. What about the cost? Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
She brings it back to his career change, and
she references the hot rod.
How much did that cost?
Yeah, fair point. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. And she said, when you wanted to become the tool-time guy instead of the salesman, I supported you. Why don't you support me? And then Tim says, I'd support you if I understood it. And why don't you go to a trade school? Because that's his answer for like all of his boys all the time and anything.
Yeah. Mind you, Tim didn't go to a trade school though.
No,
I think he has a 4-year degree, so I'm not sure why he's always pushing people to go to trade schools. But yeah, that is a common solution for Tim.
Yeah, he's making jokes. She's trying to have a serious conversation. Ends up, she throws some mashed potatoes at him.
Yeah, I mean that's a fitting end to the scene, I would say.
Mashed potatoes, a delicious meal on the ground.
Yeah.
It's sad.
That's because she mashed him in the argument.
Oh, like a mashed potato. Like a mashed potato.
Tim is not behaving well.
Tim behaving badly.
Her comparison, I mean, if I were to defend Tim just briefly here, and I seldom do.
Be careful.
Yeah, seriously. I know Tim's in the news for not his best decision this week, but her comparing going back to school to him going from being a salesman to the host of Tool Time isn't. I mean, that's not really a direct comparison because isn't going to Tool Time like a step up compared to being a salesman?
Yeah,
or are we not supposed to perceive it that way?
And she kind of makes it seem like it was a risk, whereas I thought he was kind of being like offered this job. I don't know.
Yeah,
seems very strange. Whereas,
maybe we're not privy to the details, huh?
Yeah, we might not be.
We might not be. All right. Well, that was my lone defense. So, we cut to Tool Time.
Heidi's up to her old tricks again.
What'd she do? Was she unsure about what time it was?
Well, she was unsure. So
she's like, does everybody know what time it is? It's a long scene. I only wrote stilt humor. So
that's pretty accurate, though.
Yeah, I mean, they're on stilts. Tim has built a specialty pair of stilts and
pneumatic stilts.
Yeah, you've seen the show before, so you kind of
you know what's gonna happen.
Kind of fill in the gaps here.
I knew something was up when Tim came out and I didn't see Al, and he was hiding behind the drywall on the stilts. So
that was you're right. That was when things got a little bit fishy. If you ask me.
I knew something bad was gonna happen. Yeah, and like you said, the pneumatic stilts are going to cause him to go through the roof.
Literally. Next scene.
Back at home, Randy. Yeah. There's only like little snippets of the boys in this episode. They get like one tiny scene where they do anything, which is kind of disappointing for me. But
I agree.
Randy's doing the dishes, and I thought about time the boys chipped in.
Yeah, well, Jill's had it tough, so they're trying to kind of rally around her.
Yeah, so Tim's got some flowers. He's got the Tim Taylor special. And Randy wants to know if flowers always work, and he says yes.
Except this time.
Yeah, except now. Jill and Marie come in. Marie is really just being that shoulder that Jill needs right now. But also she needs some basil, so that's why she's there.
Marie... I mean, like, basically Marie's character, she delivers some good lines and stuff, but every third or fourth line of dialogue is about, like, a meat-based humor. Like, it's like, bring it back to Joe, which then brings it back to meat. And she has a couple of really good lines about sausages in here.
I like it.
I tried to turn it into a title, but I couldn't really do it. Yeah, it's as good of a defining characteristic as any on this show. It's
better than Karn coming in and like psychoanalyzing everything.
That is true. Yeah, Marie is much better than Karen. Yeah,
more likable.
Cooking with Irma and then Meets with Marie. I think those could be a good back-to-back show on the public access.
Ooh, Meets with Marie. Instead of the flowers, the joke is that Joe gets her some sausage and bacon when he messes up, which I mean that's great. I love it.
That's what you'd like, right?
I'm in. Meat man.
Where do I sign, Joe? I see you, Meat Man.
So Jill guesses exactly what Tim has behind his back, and down to the baby's breath. And Marie leaves. She's got to get out of here. She knows this is gonna go bad. Mm-hmm. Plus, she got her basil. So, what else do you need?
And there's got to be like some pork on the grill or something,
It's gonna burn if she doesn't get back. So, Jill wants to go deeper than the flowers. Why did you get me the flowers? So I wouldn't be mad. What this is about is supporting the idea of me going back to college, which we've had this conversation before. She kind of just wants Tim to support her and listen to her and such. And he's not doing it. So
not yet.
Not yet. So let's go outside.
Yeah, I think maybe this is as good a time as any to possibly play a clip.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, cool. Play it.
Hey Wilson, want some flowers?
Well, Tim, what a neighborly gesture.
It'll cost you $35.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Tim, that looks like the $27.95 Tim Taylor foot-in-your-mouth special.
Yeah. Tried to use them to say I'm sorry to Jill. She didn't want them. She wants to go back to school and is mad because she doesn't think I'm being very supportive.
Well, do you feel that you are?
Well, I guess that depends on your definition of supportive. I told her it was a stupid idea, and she probably couldn't even get into clown college.
Well, Tim, I don't think that's anyone's definition of supportive.
Like, going back to school, it's really a big deal to her. I couldn't wait to get out of college. And to be honest, the college couldn't wait to get me out of there.
Well, wasn't it college where you met Jill?
Yeah, wasn't easy. I was kind of a motorhead, and she hung out with all the intellectuals. You know the type. Spend their days thinking about the meaning of life, and they could be figuring out how to drink a keg of beer without using their hands. I'm not looking forward to her getting back in a group of eggheads again. People are always trying to prove how smart they are by talking over your head and using big words.
So, Tim, you're worried about Jill returning to the world of academia.
It was a lot of work to get her interested in me in the first place in college, you know? And maybe she goes back and hangs out with those intellectual types. Maybe she won't find me that interesting again.
Tim, just because Jill grows doesn't mean that she's going to grow apart from you.
No. Heck. What am I talking about? Why would she trade me in for a new model when she got a V8 like me sitting in the garage at home?
You are a classic.
Tim explains the situation, and Wilson is much like Marie for Jill. He's a shoulder to cry on, a sounding board, if you will. What we eventually get is that Wilson kind of confronts Tim that Tim is afraid that Jill will find him boring after she goes back to academia and kind of rubs shoulders with the more sophisticated types. Eggheads, as Tim calls it. But that's essentially it. Like, I don't know that Wilson gives a lot of advice. He kind of just explains to Tim what Tim is already saying. What did you get out of this?
Yeah, I mean, he said two things of consequence, I guess. He said, "Are you being supportive?" Which kind of Tim answers for himself and knows that he's not. And then, he says, "Just because Jill grows doesn't mean you're going to grow apart." So, I mean, there's not a lot of actionable advice for him, but he does kind of bring him back down to earth.
All right, Jordan, sound the alarm. It's time for the newest segment on Home Podcast. We're reading the Wilsonometer.
Wilsonometer. All right.
Jordan, explain the Wilsonometer to the
listeners. We both at this point, after doing 75 episodes, are kind of professionals in Wilson's meteorology game, which is, how good is his advice this week? Is it scalding that it's going to be on a 0 to 100 degree scale, so you can tell how hot it is based on your normal temperatures outside. You said it was 50 right now in Illinois, so
what is it down there in Florida? I know people love hearing about the weather in places. Jordan, what's temp down there in Florida?
You know what they love better than hearing about the temperature in other places? Hearing about the temperature in other places about 5 days ago.
It's true. Yeah, it's not even directly applicable. Let's talk about let's give a Wilsonometer reading on this advice. How hot or cold is this advice, Jason?
Hot. I don't think it's cold because he does lead Tim into some kind of introspection here, but I also don't think it's real hot because it's not super actionable for him.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it like a 60 degree rating.
Mine's 63 degrees, so
Whoa.
we're right on par. Yeah, it's helpful enough to set him in the right direction, so there's a little bit of heat to it, but it's not so hot that he just spoon feeds it to Tim. It's he's like you said, he's putting Tim on the right track. So
he's like a gentle breeze.
Yeah, there's a gentle breeze. You can wear your shorts outside if you wanted to, but you can also put on a sweatshirt if you needed.
I tell you what,
that has been this week's reading of the Wilsonometer.
Oh my gosh.
I can't wait to do this segment every week.
Okay. Wow. You said you wanted to jazz it up. I don't think you can get jazzier than that. So
that was as jazzy as DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Ooh. Drop that beat, son. Let's go back inside. Let's get out of that 63 degree weather. And
60 to 63 degrees, somewhere in that vicinity.
With a slight breeze.
Yeah.
Wilson. No more Wilson. We're done with Wilson. Sorry.
He's still at the fence. He's outside. He's doing his thing. Don't worry about him.
He was grilling something, I'm sure. But Tim and Jill are inside now. And Tim just comes in and he says, "Don't expect me to help you with your homework." You know what that means, don't you?
I mean, I have an idea, but I'd like you to just tell me.
He's in. He's in on the idea.
Wow, just like that. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Jill accepts his apology. Jill gets excited for some supplies that he's gotten her, including a binder. Or no, she gets excited for buying supplies. The binder stuff comes later.
Yeah,
so she's excited about...
Wait, are you in a hurry or something?
I'm in a hurry. I'm in a hurry because we've recorded this like 4 times.
That's true.
So Jill's excited to buy some socks and such, and then Tim explains his fears to her. They go back outside. She's watering the herbs on that nice patio, so it's nice to see the patio get some love. The gazebo that Tim built. And, he explains his fears. Jill says, "You're never boring." And then he says, "Do you ever wish you married someone else?"
She's like, "Every day of my life."
No, she says, "You're funny, you're sexy, you're creative, you're not afraid to be wrong."
I mean, he is sexy. She's right.
Yeah, absolutely. So then there's a PMS PBS joke, which is just really funny.
That's a Ferber classic, though. That's vintage Ferb.
This episode definitely got the Ferber treatment.
Yeah, Ferber. You can tell Ferber did a pass on it when you hear PMS jokes. All right, that's the end, and then we come back. And Tim has got her being Jill, some specific supplies. Let's say that they've been inspected by Tim the Toolman Taylor, if you catch my drift. A binder with Tim's high school, perhaps college photo on it. We got a special More Power pencil sharpener. Oh, man, does it sharpen those pencils
sure
until
does.
They are stubbed. And then
not a toolbox.
A lunchbox that opens with a remote control, and then an apple flings out, and she catches it.
Boing.
It's a fitting end to the episode, and that is roll credits, fade to black. Back in the saddle shoes again.
Also, the lunchbox says school time instead of tool time.
Didn't catch that.
It was really good.
I think I had already gotten up at that point.
I don't know. I didn't see that on your Periscope video.
Yeah, well, I stopped after 15 minutes out of the 22-minute episode, so I wanted to be brief.
Yeah, very brief.
Jordan, highs and lows.
Not a great start to season 4. I suppose it sets up the development of Jill as far as like what she's going to do next. There will be no more fundraising. She won't have time for it. She will be at school, from the looks of it. Lows, Tim is unsupportive per the usual until he figures out that he's being an idiot. And there's nothing really for the boys to do, which I find the boys more interesting at this point than Tim and Jill's, relationship that they do the same stuff over and over again with. So.
I agree. A good episode will have the boys with some purpose, I would say.
Yeah. Besides dropping watermelon seeds everywhere.
I mean, that watermelon bit was funny. All right. So I agree with you. This is usually they start off the season
scalding
a little bit better episodes than this. This is not. It's not. I wouldn't call it I wouldn't say it's poor. It's pretty average.
Super average. It's the average.
It's very forgettable. Like you said, it does set up what is going to be happening with Jill moving forward. But in terms of there's not much humor apart from imagining what Deke might look like, and then Tim's kind of shuffle to get to the phone when Deke calls. The boys have little to do. The advice section is pretty lackluster. It's very forgettable. It doesn't do anything very well. There's no scenes that are cringeworthy either. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for more out of season 4 than this, though. I will say that.
I will say that too. I'm wondering if they're also in this episode setting up when Tim gets CTE later. Do you think?
From what?
From banging his head through the frickin' ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I'm sure Deke has got something for CTE.
I'm sure he does. All right, that's episode 75. Back in the saddle shoes again. We're going to move over to Sean's social media roundup. If you want to contact us, let us know how awesome that new Wilsonometer, whatever you want to call it, segment was, or maybe you like our new intro. I don't know. Just let us know. What questions do you have for season 4? What do you think is going to happen?
The pronunciation of Wilsonometer or Wilsonometer, it's kind of like Oregon, kind of just going to depend on where you're at. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So what? Maybe you'll put a poll. What do you like better? If you want to reach out to us, go to thehomeandpodcast.com. You can go to Twitter. We're at Home and Podcast, Facebook.com/Home and Podcast. And if you'd like to support the show, you can do so for as little as $1 a month by going to Patreon.com/Home and Podcast, or support us for free and help others find us by leaving a review on iTunes. Adam, what's going on Twitter?
Yeah, how about both, really? Twitter, a couple polls here, Jordan. Poll number 1. Do you like the Bob Vila episodes of Home Improvement? So there was maybe you saw this, maybe you didn't, Jordan. There was a bit of a typo. When I do these tweets, I wake up in the morning. This is what I do for the podcast. This is my dedication. I wake up in the morning, 7 7:30 in the morning, and before I head off to work, I blast out these tweets. So sometimes things kind of slip through the cracks, and this was one of those things. For whatever reason, I meant to type in mediocre, and Medicare came up. So
you were trying to make a statement.
It was political, yeah. Like most things right now, it was political. Yeah. All right, but the poll was: do you like the Bob Vila episodes of Home Improvement? 20% said no. I would say watch them again. 33%,
including maybe a co-host.
Definitely one co-host. 33% said they are Medicare, meaning they are mediocre.
Or Medicare. It was probably so confusing.
For that to kind of poke fun at me. And then 47% said yes. So Medicare and yes are pretty close on that. So
Medicare is close to everything, I'd say.
I would say Medicare is always at the forefront of our minds and our hearts. Second poll, who was the bigger Season 3 guest star? 10 total votes. 30% said NBA legend Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah, Karn's ready. 70% said some peanut farmer named Jimmy Carter. Who was also a former president.
I guess so. I guess he's popular.
Other than that,
a lot of political trends are polls lately. My goodness.
Jordan, it's hard to have a home improvement podcast and not get into politics. It's just difficult. As always, reach out to us various social media platforms, particularly Twitter, and follow the show in all of the ways we've listed.
Every single one. You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. Do we? You have a question for me? Something you want to ask?
I've got a lot of questions for you, but I have one in particular that I'd like to talk about today, and that is you and I both went to college.
Sure did.
I don't know if you remember it. You got your degree in teaching. I got mine in marketing. I wondered if at any point during your years there, if you ever considered majoring in something different, thought about going down a different path. I just really wanted to dive deep into what your college experience was.
Okay. Well, to answer your question, I would say I'm maybe one of the rare people that didn't really. Not only did I never change my major, I never really considered changing my major.
Whoa.
I came in studying secondary education English, and I never really wavered. I did change my minor a couple of times, but that really didn't have much of an impact on me because you have to choose
something.
You choose a major to teach, and you choose a minor that you end up teaching as well. And I played around with that a few times, but it's not really that interesting. I ended up studying English the whole time, and then I went and got a master's in English. So I've always been pretty confident in my interest, at the very least, of English and reading and writing. So, I know you have though. Let's hear it.
Well, I went through a couple different things. Like at first, for some reason, I wanted to be in finance, and then
that would have never worked.
Yeah, never. I don't know it. I for whatever reason, when I got into the class, I was like, this isn't really as interesting. I think I like the personal finance side of things more than the actual financial stuff.
Right.
And so it became less practical to me and less interesting. So I thought about different things. I thought about getting out of the business field in general. I looked at kinesiology for a while. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. At one point, I switched to marketing, but I was looking at specializations, which are kind of like minors. And I had specializations of information technology, which I ended up finishing. The other one I had was like health and epidemiology for some reason.
Okay. All right.
I thought maybe health would be interesting for me.
Sounds like you were kind of a lost soul.
I still am a little bit of a lost soul. I have lots of interests. And, when you're just good at everything you try, you just think you should try everything. So.
That's you in a nutshell. Very, very self-confident and assured.
Yeah. So, ended up going with marketing and IT. But, there was a while where I didn't quite know exactly what I wanted to do. And really, at the end of the day, would I go back and do marketing again? Probably not.
I was going to say, where you going? I remember just seeing you, and you were just kind of walking campus with just kind of aimless, like a drifter, just sort of looking in every direction at the sky, and then yelling up to the clouds, "Who am I? What am I?" Hey, Jordan, where did you go to school? What school in particular?
Go green, go white, that place.
Oh, okay. We'll leave it at that. All right. Yeah. So, what do we cover next week, Jordan?
Don't tell Mama.
I won't. I won't. Don't tell Mama. All right. This is a short episode. This is one of our shortest episodes, like, since probably our first episode. Well, in and out.
In and out. I guess there wasn't much to talk about.
Probably because we recorded 20 minutes earlier than there. Yeah, it was a bare bones episode. So we're talking. Did you say don't tell Mama?
I did.
Right, well,
do you want to talk about something else right now? Is that what you're trying to say? Do you got a question for me? I've got other questions.
I don't. I don't want to talk anymore, frankly. I was just noticing the timer here and seeing how we
Adam,
we're struggling to hit 44 minutes.
What's your favorite flower?
My favorite flower?
Yeah, what's your favorite flower?
I really think we should save that for another time. Let's tease the audience for a week, and then we'll come back and talk about flowers at the top of next week's episode, or anything else that we might do. Jordan, it's been a pleasure talking to you here in season 4. 75 episodes in. We're working our way to 100, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah, we're one step closer. Thanks, Audible. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, Jordan, thank you for joining me. Listeners, thank you for listening. I'll say take care.
Take care, everybody.